But hey guys, welcome to the show. I was just chatting in the chat box. This is live training today that we're doing. I want to say welcome to all of you that are joining. I am so excited about today's session. I actually did this deep dive goal setting for my Careers on Vacation students and my Wanderlust CEO agency owners, and they loved it so much. I thought, let me do a version of this for our grads and for our travel professional training kit participants. And I even opened it up to our secret YouTube community. So we are expecting a lot of people on the session today, but I'm really excited because I will be the first to tell you, I hate New Year's resolutions. I just don't believe in them. I am more in the camp of making sure you have ongoing goals continually through the year. You're checking in with those goals. They're measurable, they're tangible, and that you are really working towards them. I think, I feel like New Year's resolutions are just kind of, you write them down and maybe you do them, maybe you don't, you'll revisit them next December 30th or whatever. That's just not my style. And especially because I'm a coach and a trainer and an educator in the travel industry, I'm always pushing you guys to hit your goals year round. So I'm going to give you more of a deep dive. This is not just writing a list of goals and what can I do to work towards them, but we're going to map out and I'm going to make you think about some things you probably haven't thought about yet. And this is something you can check in with every single month and hold yourself accountable. And I even have some cool tools that I'm going to give you for totally free in the session today to help you. I'm going to give you a little homework after today too. So I'm so excited to do this. Keep on watching. We're going to get into it right after the intro. All right. Okay, guys, we are going to get in. We're going to jump right into training because switch my mics here so we get a little bit better sound. We have a lot of ground to cover and there are a lot of you joining the session. And I know this is lunchtime for a lot of you. So I want to try to get through as much as I can. And everybody that registered, you will get this as a replay. Some of the things we bring up today might cause some emotion and some different things coming up. So you might have to watch it again or do some homework. Like for me, there's a part of the exercise where you have to come up with like your word or your mantra for the year. It took me 3 days to come up with that, but I'm going to at least get you started on the process. So let's dive right in. Grab yourself a blank piece of paper. And I just want you to draw a circle. It can be an ugly circle like mine. This is not art class, y'all. It's not art class. Just draw a circle. That's all I need you to do. Once you draw your circle, you're going to draw 5 lines to create 10 spots. So I'm going to give you a second to do that. 5 lines will give you 10 spots. Look, if they're not even, don't even worry about it. It's not a big deal. It's not art class. I just need you to have 10 sections inside your circle. So do that for me really quick. And then after you have your 10 sections, am I going too fast? You guys tell me if I'm going too fast. After you have your 10 sections, I want you to create these little notches right here on your circle. They don't need to be even, but what I'm trying to get to is like, we're going to create levels within each section of 1 through 10, because I'm going to give you categories here in a second, and then you're going to rank yourself. So your pieces of pie will be a 1/10 of a piece or all the way up. So, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Literally, we're just trying to get a gauge in different categories of your life on how you feel like you're doing. All right, now with your circle that you've just created, I know some of you are like, if you have OCD like me, you're like, I gotta get these 10 pieces exactly. Don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be perfect. But what I want you to do on the outside of your circle, I want you to start writing the category, not on the inside of the pie, on the outside of the pie. I'm going to give you categories like family. Okay. I'm going to give you the categories and I'm going to type them in the chat box because I know I have a tendency to type fast, but I want you to write the categories on the outside of the pie. Okay. Now let me pull my categories and then I'm going to type these as we go. And then we'll get to the next step. So I am over in the chat box in case you're looking for these. I'm not in the Q&A, I'm in the chat box. So the first category is career. So outside of your circle, make one of those pie pieces labeled career. Second one is finances. Third one is health. The fourth one is family. The fifth one is romance. Yeah, we're going there today, people. This is all inclusive. Get excited. The sixth one, wait, yeah, 6 is fun. Speaking of fun. All right. Okay, I'm being way too silly. I did say cocktails or cocoa for the record. It's just LaCroix, y'all. It's just LaCroix. No, I'm working. Y'all can enjoy. All right, number 7 is spirituality, or whatever that means to you, not necessarily religion, spirituality, or spiritual health. Number 8 is contribution. And I'm going to define that one in a second because I got questions on that every time I've trained this before. Number 9 is your personal growth. And number 10 is your social life. Lottie said she can't see them because she got kicked out and missed the first 4. So I will repeat them for you, Lottie, no problem. Number 1 is career. Number 2 is finances. Number 3 is health. Number 4 is family. Number 5 is romance. Number 6 is fun. Number 7 is spirituality or your spiritual health, not necessarily religion, just whatever spirituality means to you personally. Number 8 is contribution. And number 9 is personal growth. Number 10 is social life. Kathy says, I cannot see them at all. I tried to get chat and it kicked me out. Maybe because we have so many people. Let me put it over in Q&A for you guys too. I am going to, let's see if Q&A will let me. I don't know if it's going to let me. I don't think it lets me type in the Q&A box, unfortunately. Okay, so let me repeat them one more time. Oh, Kimberly, yeah. Kimberly, if you can put them in, if someone can put them in the Q&A box and then I can answer live, that would be cool too, because then that way they'll be in 2 spots. Thanks, Kimberly, I appreciate you. So I'm gonna repeat them one more time for you guys as you guys are making your circles. Kimberly's putting them in for us. Number 1, career. Number 2, finances. And let me pause for a second. If you're just joining us, if you came in late, that's okay. We don't give tardies here. We are drawing a circle. Draw a circle. We're putting 10 pie pieces in the circle. And then now we're categorizing these 10 pieces in the pie, but we're writing the categories on the outside of the pie. Okay. Kimberly is kindly putting them in the chat box for us. And I'm going to repeat them one more time. Number 1 is career. Number 2 is finances. Number 3 is health. Number 4 is family. Number 5 is romance. Number 6 is fun. Number 7 is spirituality or spiritual health. Number 8 is contribution. And number 9 is personal growth. Number 10 is social life. Now, for those of you who are a little ahead, what I want you to do, and as you guys wrap up after you write your categories, I want you to go through and I want you to color in the middle being 0 and then level 1 through 10 on your pie chart. I want you to fill in each piece of pie on how you think you're doing in your life in that category. So if you don't feel like you're doing good in health, maybe you rank yourself a 2 or a 3. So you would color it up to the 2 or 3 mark. And I'm going to show you mine. Mine's all nice and colored in already because this is like the 5th time I've trained this workshop, but I'm going to show it to you when I'm done. But I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to color those in. While you guys are coloring in, I'm going to repeat the categories one more time just to make sure you guys have them. So go ahead and start coloring them in. If you have different color markers, that's awesome. If you don't, that's okay too. Just color them in with your pen or pencil or whatever works for you. If you forgot your markers, no worries. Or maybe you don't have markers. I have 3 kids, so we have markers literally everywhere in the house. I'm going to go over to the Q&A real quick and answer a few questions while you guys are in here. Oh, Lottie, thank you for putting those in. So Lottie put them in over in the chat box, the categories: career, finances, health, family, romance, fun, spiritual health, contribution, personal growth, and social life. Carrie put them into. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. You guys are all helping out in the chat box and in the Q&A. And I'm going to put big thank yous in here and then share with everybody. And then that way you guys can see them. Just in case you log on late, which I know happens because some of you guys are at work and making all the things happen for sure. Love it, love it. Yes, Ellen says, can you tell us what contribution means? Thank you, Ellen, for reminding me. The way I think of contribution is, where in the world are you giving back? So we had someone in another workshop, in my Careers on Vacation program, and I have a mom who does Girl Scouts. She's a Girl Scout mom. And I'm like, that's a perfect example of contribution, because she's dedicating time, hours, and commitment. And I know how much work that is because my daughter was a Girl Scout, and that time that she's spending to help shape and motivate and inspire young women, that I would consider as a contribution. She doesn't have to participate or give time to Girl Scouts, but she chooses to do that. If you do any charity work, if you do, in my lane, what I consider contribution, we do a lot of advocacy work on behalf of the travel industry, things I don't get paid for, things that I just do because in my heart of hearts, it's my way of contributing to support our industry and to support you guys. I could consider this workshop today, I'm not getting paid for it, but 15,000 people, actually almost 18,000 on YouTube, will have access to it. So it's just a way that I give back in my world. So this is that's what I would consider contribution, something that you do from your heart to either help other people, whether it's charitable works, whether it's advocating for a group or for something that you do kind of in that. Does that help, Ellen, answer? Good, 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 good. So I'm going to give you guys just another minute to fill them in. Yes, Jill, fill them in on how you think you're doing. Like, how do you feel when you go through this chart? Like, career-wise, would you rank yourself a 10? And I would say 10 is like, there's no room for growth. You should be training other people on how to do whatever it is that you do, right? So 10, I don't rank myself anything. I always feel like there's room for growth. But if you feel like you're really killing it career-wise, maybe it's an 8 or a 9. If you feel like you're really slacking on the fun department, or for me, like social life, I was laughing because I'm like, I don't really have a social life. Like, I have 3 kids. I have multiple travel brands that we run. And so my team and you guys, my clients that I work with, is kind of the extent of my interaction with the outside world. So I have a very limited social life. If I do, it's like when I'm on a trip somewhere and we do a meet and greet or something like that. So I know that that's one that probably I need to work on a little stronger and foster my girlfriend relationships a little bit more and do more things. Like, if my daughter's like, Mom, you need a friend to hang out with, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm too busy. But it's one of those things where, would enhancing that category, doing a better job in that area, we'll get into like how you can work on goals and setting them. But all we're trying to do right now is how you feel about each category. And so from a perspective, like, what does it look like on a piece of paper? And then I'm going to take it a step further in a second. I'm going to give you guys just another minute to fill this in. And then I'm going to show you mine, so you'll get to see. And it was so fun to do this in our COV group yesterday, because everybody was able to show theirs if they wanted to. And they all looked crazy, because there's always a few areas, right, that we neglect because we're working in other areas. I think that's very normal. But I also think, it's a good thing to take a holistic, like 360 review of your life, because sometimes if you do something in another category and it gets better, it will impact everything else in your life. So that's why we do this exercise. All right, so I'm gonna ask you guys to finish up. If you haven't colored all of them in perfectly, it's fine. You can color them in later. I know I had OCD about it, and I had to go back and color mine in later, so it looked better. But to give you an example of what mine looks like, it's all over the place. right? It's all over the place. So what I want you to do now is in the very middle, I want you to color a little black, what I'm going to call like a hubcap. And I want you to think about this like it's a wheel. Okay. Now, if this was a wheel, are you going to get very far down the street? If this was a wheel and you had to drive on this wheel, if you had 4 wheels that look like this, it's going to be a bumpy ride, right? So your goal is, right, is to kind of look at the areas that are a little bit lacking, or that, or maybe just woke you up to an area that you didn't realize. Like at first, I was going to rank family really, really strong because we do everything around our family. We built our businesses around our family. We do, everything's about the kids. But then I thought, man, you know what? I'm not doing as good of a job as I could visiting my parents in Michigan because they're far away and I don't get up there as much as I need to. And I was like, oh, that's an area I need to do a little better on. So I actually kicked myself down a notch on family because I know that's something I want to work on today or this year, not today. I can't fly anywhere today. I'm training y'all, but you guys get the idea. So now what I'm going to do is I want to ask you guys some questions to think about before we get into goal setting, right? Before we get into goal setting, I want to ask you some questions to reflect on. We've looked at the map now. So now we know how no one sees your map but you, right? But now we know how you are kind of thinking about it from that perspective. But before we actually get into the goal setting, I want you to answer these questions for me. So just take another blank piece of paper and write them down. Number 1, what was your biggest achievement last year? What was your biggest achievement? What do you feel like your biggest achievement was? And I would love if you guys would share some of your answers in the chat box. I would love that. Some of them you won't want to share because they're tougher questions, but I would love to hear some of your responses as we go here. Completing COV, Tana, that's right. I love that. Starting your travel business, investing in yourself. Oh, I love it. I love it. Graduating COV, starting as a specialist. Oh man, they're coming in fast and furious. Becoming a travel agent, resigning from the hospital. Yeah, Jamie getting out of one career and into another. Good to see you, by the way, Jamie. So many grads on here, you guys. I love it. Book some friends on their first river cruise. I know that was a fun commission. Mitchell starting Magical Keys vacation in COV. Yep. Learning to use Travelify. Yeah, Suzette, that's a good one. Quitting my crap job. Yeah, I love all these coming in, guys. This is awesome. I love this. I love it. I love it. All right. The second one is, what was your biggest learning moment last year? What was your biggest learning moment? It can be something, remember, it can be in any of these categories, right? It can be in any of those categories. Your biggest learning moment. Doubling sales. Yay. Love that. Doubling sales and income. Good, good. Good, good, good. Love it, guys. All right. Third question is, what held you back the most? What held you back the most last year? Was it time? Was it energy? Was it confidence? What was the thing that held you back? Ooh, I love that you guys are being brave and sharing some answers. Not believing in myself. Yeah, the CDC. Amen. I hear you, friends. Confidence on social media, the day job, imposter syndrome. Yes, Brianna, 2 knee replacements. Yeah, that would hold anyone back. Kelly, I hope you're feeling better. Bad imposter syndrome, another imposter syndrome, time and finances, self-confidence, time, waiting for things to be perfect. Oh, Mitchell, I love that you brought that up. That I always say, if you're waiting for it to be perfect, you're going to be waiting for forever. Timing is never perfect, especially with doing big things. I love it. Fear of failure, stress, post-traumatic stress disorder from canceling so many trips. Yeah, 2020 was rough leading into 2021. Waiting for the perfect time and overthinking things. Yeah, good, guys. Good. All right, here's another tough one. What are you most embarrassed or frustrated with right now? What are you most embarrassed or frustrated with right now? Get into the core stuff. And sometimes this is not going to be career stuff, guys. I want you to think about all the categories. We had one on one of the workshops that just said, I'm having a tough time in my marriage. If you're having a tough time in your marriage or your relationship, do you think that it's going to impact your career? Heck yeah, it's going to impact everything on the wheel until you fix or resolve whatever's going on there. So what are you most embarrassed or frustrated with? And it's important to think about these things because sometimes you don't realize how they're impacting other categories of your life. Yeah, Jay Porter said, current coworkers think I'm going to fail. Oh, don't you love that when other people who are not even trying are like already writing stuff off? Like, oh, that should just light a fire under you. It really should. Parenting adult children. I love it. I love it. Yeah, good. Good answers, guys. Number 6, what will change this year moving forward? What are you committing to changing? What's the number one thing you want to change going into the new year? Number one thing you want to change. Number one thing you'd love to change. Jay Porter says, I will start my travel business. Yeah, don't listen to those people. They don't know what you're capable of. Absolutely. Setting a solid schedule, getting good systems in place for automation. Yeah, that'll change your world. Personal growth, huge growth, work myself in my business, implementing fees. Yeah, you should all be charging fees, 100%. That was a 20-minute conversation in our mastermind call yesterday, how to introduce fees. Believing in yourself. Yep, these are going fast and furious. I love it. And then I have one more question for you guys. What could be your one word mantra, your one word for the year, or your mantra? And I'm going to tell a little story about this while you guys are thinking about that. This is the one that literally took me 3 days to figure out, like, what is my one word? What's my mantra? And I spend December, guys, like that's my time of reflection. I look at how we're doing as a business. I look at everything in my life, and I kind of start this process earlier in December for me personally. But when I was workshopping, I was like, what's the one word? Like, what's my mantra or my one word for this year? And I just kept going round and round. And I finally figured out, for me personally, my word is care. So I'm going to back up and kind of share with you, like, if you look at my chart, one of the things that I told my students from a very honest, vulnerable place is, I love what I do so much. I love training you guys. I love helping people. I love inspiring people to take their businesses to the next level. But the thing about it is, when you do what you're so passionate about in life, like, you feel good, it feels great, but I will literally work myself to death. Like, my husband will come out at 3:00 in the morning on Saturday. He's like, are you seriously, you're editing videos at 3:00 in the morning? You need to get some sleep. Like, this is why you're running on empty all the time. But my work never feels like work to me because I just love it. But the problem is, when you're up here on level 10 all the time, your body starts to like break down. And in the middle of 2020, in the middle of COVID, when all the things were happening, everybody was processing stress in a different way. I have a brain that I will never admit. I will never even acknowledge that if I'm stressed. It just doesn't register in my brain. Like, I'll never even let myself say that. But my body knows when I'm under stress. And in 2020, if you go back to the worst time of it, I'm talking about like when stuff was shut down, you couldn't go anywhere. We were all in our houses. And I am looking at my hundreds of clients that have been through my programs and all of their travel businesses, and getting calls and emails on a daily basis, like, Cyndi, what should we do? And just like the outpouring of like, give me words of inspiration. And I was just like, we did a lot of work that year to just like try to help people. But when you're the person who's the motivator in the industry and the person who's there, the shoulder to cry on, it was like a lot to process. And I was so like, from a heart perspective, because of the empathy I have for people and obviously my clients, that I helped them build these things up. And then they were like, just feeling so stressed during 2020 and even into early 2021, I started to have some health issues. So it's crazy because I don't know if you guys know what psoriasis is, but it's where you get these little like bumps on your skin. And the number one thing that can give you like an outbreak is stress. So in the middle of 2020, I started getting like this rash. I'm like, what is going on? I go to the doctor, they misdiagnosed it at first. Anyway, it took me like 3-4 weeks to get into the dermatologist and figure out what was going on. But by that time, I had a rash covering 35% of my body. Like, it was horrible. And he's like, the number one thing you need to do is reduce your stress. And also, I want to give you this medicine that is usually for cancer patients because you have such a bad like breakout of this thing. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like I'm not, and again, I'm not a doctor, so do not take my medical advice. My situation is different from anyone else's. But for me, I said, can I take a more holistic approach? Like, what can I do? He's like, the only thing you can do is reduce your stress. You can maybe take like some Epsom salt baths and get more vitamin D. So I did all of those things. And thankfully, in my case, I was able to alleviate it. Like, it's practically gone at this point. But if I have moments of stress, I'll get a little bump. I'll get a little, and so now that's how I could say, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? But from a coaching perspective, you guys know, if you've watched me on YouTube, I always say, never ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, why is this happening for me? So in my world, I consider my psoriasis a gift, because the minute that stress is creeping up and my brain doesn't recognize it, my body tells me. I'll get a little bump on my elbow and I'll be like, okay, I'm stressed out. I got to bring it down a notch. So my word going into this year is care. Care for self-care, care for my family, care for the clients that I serve. It's just care overall. So that's my word. I love that you guys are putting your words in here: balance, grace, grow, energize, focus. Yeah. And you guys can have a mantra too. Like, this is going to be my year. Just watch what I do this year. Like, whoever had the one earlier where the coworkers are, saying the bad stuff, I would be like, hold my beer, watch what I'm about to do. Right. You want to Texify it. Oh, it's something they would say here in Texas. But I want you guys, even if you can't think of the word now, that's totally fine. Like, come up with a word whenever you're ready, or the mantra whenever you're ready. Kelly says, earn while I learn. Yes, I love that. We use that in COB all the time. That's our mantra for the COB program. Okay, now I'm going to have you guys do one more thing before we write out your specific goals to help you in these areas. Because everybody says, oh my gosh, I don't have time. I don't have time. I want you to draw one, take another blank piece of paper and draw a circle for me. This time, break it into 4 pieces, just like that. So another blank piece of paper. And what we're doing here is we're actually going to create like a 24-hour clock. So once you break it into the reason I break it into 4 is it's easier, because you're going to put 6 sections in each one. And I want it to look similar to this. It doesn't have to be like exact, but we're trying to create midnight, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then start over at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, midnight. So I'm going to give you a minute to do that. We're going to do a little time assessment on how you're spending your time before we get into goal setting, because you have to have time to work on your goals. I'm going to read a few of these while you guys are doing that. Hey, Tamika, one of my new Wanderlust CEOs. I can't lose. I'm born to win. All Tamika does is win. All she does is win, win, win. Right? There's a song, DJ Khaled out there. That's your theme song, Tamika. I'm gifting that to you. Love it. Brianna says courage. Yeah, you guys have a lot of great ones here. Good, good, good. All right, type me a little done once you have your 24-hour clock built, so I know I'm not going too fast. Can I show the picture again? Absolutely. Are you talking about the 24-hour clock one? Let me back it up a little here. So all you're doing is you're creating midnight and then all the way. So we're trying to create like a 24-hour clock. So I had you start out with 4 because it makes it easier to break it down to 6. Now, what you guys are going to do, we have a few that are done, a few that are still working. But what I want you guys to do is I want you to take your 24-hour clock. First thing you should fill in is the time that you sleep. And I know sometimes like Tuesdays are different for me, then Fridays are different. Just pick an average day, like an average day for you. And first start by filling in all the time you sleep. Okay. So in my case, I go to bed pretty regularly at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm always up by 6 because that's what time my kids go to school. And then what I want you to do for the rest of your day is I want you to color in the times that you have tasks that you know you have to do. Like for me, I know I got to take the kids to school between 6 a.m. and 8. That's like feed the kids breakfast, get them to school, get back home, and then I'm prepping my prep time for the day. Then I'm working with all my careers on vacation, Wanderlust CEO students. I'm working pretty much till 4. So if you have dedicated thing, and then if you don't have anything during a certain hour, that's fine, leave it blank. Or you're like, I don't really have anything I have to do during that hour. It's not like a regimented thing. Leave those spots blank. So for me, I'm going to use myself as an example. I try to shut things down by about 7:30 every day, and till 11, we call that family time. Hang out in the pool if it's summertime, or watch TV or be on social media, whatever. This is like free time, right? After dinner. And I'm going to explain how I carved out some time for my goals here in a second. Okay, so what you guys should be getting a good picture of, that now that you're kind of coloring out all the times, and maybe you're like, I don't have, I had some of my Wanderlust CEOs say, what if there's no time? Like the whole thing is colored in, the entire thing is covered in from start to finish. Now, I know some of you are thinking, I don't have a minute to spare. This is where I'm going to challenge you. Everybody get your phones out. Get your phone and go to, if you have an iPhone, I have an iPhone. I want you to go to settings. And in settings, there's this great little feature called screen time. I don't know if you guys can see that. I have a little, there it is, screen time, a little bit of a glare. Click on your screen time. And I want you to look at what your daily average says. Mine, I'm going to share, says 3 hours and 24 minutes. Now, granted, some of that is the time that I am on with my Careers on Vacation students and my Wanderlust CEOs, but you can break it down even further, and you can hit see activity. Let's see if I can get that for you guys. See all activity, the bottom there. So if you click see all activity, it will literally break it down. It'll say my social time, my creativity time, and then your overall screen time. And it shows you Facebook, I'm on for 3 hours and 6 minutes. Instagram, I'm on for an hour 42. Then I'm on my camera for 58 minutes. I'm on my email for 56, messages 49, Safari, TikTok, whatever. And you can even hit show more. Literally will show you how you are spending your time on a daily basis. So the reason I wanted to challenge you to do this is because I looked at that in December and I brought that time down in half. I don't know what my average was, but when I ran the workshop last week, it said your screen time is down 54% because I recognized I was wasting time. And this is one of those things I train my students all the time is be a creator, not a consumer of social media, because social media is designed to keep you on it and it can become a huge time waster. But that is time. If you reduce it just an hour a day, that's 7 hours a week. That is a ton of time if you multiply that through the course of the year. So that's how you find some extra time. All right, we have a question, Tana. Please forgive me. Are we filling in the times with what we're normally doing? Yes. I was super concentrating on my clock. Yes. So Tana, fill it in with the things that you are doing. And I'm going to go back to this now because I want to tell you guys, like I showed the screen time stuff. What I really realized, because I said, I don't really have anything I have to do between 7:30 and 11 o'clock every single night. So I started asking myself, like, what am I doing during that time? And I was like, oh, you know what? The TV is watching me and I'm on social media, or I'm doing editing, or I'm working too much, or I'm doing stuff I don't really have to do during this time. So this is where I plugged in. I said, my word of the year is care. So one of the things that I do is I set up a care routine for this time of the day where I take a bubble bath, I do my meditation, I listen to music, I read a book, I do stuff that is literally just like self-care stuff, because that's my primary goal this year, right? So I've been plugging that in. So by usually I start around 9:30, I'll start bath time and whatever. And then this time is just, hanging out with the kids or whatever. But my kids are older too. Like, to be honest, this helped me get honest with myself, because although I call it family time, none of my kids are downstairs. Some of them times they have karate, or my daughter has musical until 7 o'clock every night. And literally I'm just downstairs in the living room doing whatever the heck I want. So I was able to identify that's not really most of the time quality family. Like a couple nights we do movie nights, but most of the time I can carve out some time here. So hopefully this helps you guys understand where your gaps are, or if you're wasting time in a certain place in your life, that's where you get the time to work on your goals. Or you could even shift. Like if I said, you know what, I want to get up at 5 in the morning. I know that sounds super awesome. If I wanted to work out at 5 in the morning, I could shift this forward and then I could go to bed an hour earlier so I can still get the same amount of sleep. You're able to see like where you can get that goal time in. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. Now, what we're going to do now is I want you guys to write down your 10 in consideration of what you just created, right, of your chart. What are your 10 biggest goals that you're going to work on this year? What are the 10 biggest goals that you have? And you can look at the different categories. If one category, or actually one category, I pulled my time one, but I meant to show this one. Keep this in front of you as you're coming up with your goals, right? So whatever the lowest are, like, oh, you know what, maybe that's how I figured out, like, I do need to have a goal to see my parents more this year because I went through this exercise. Now, honestly, if I just sat down and started with the 10 goals, I wouldn't have thought of that as a goal this year. That's why it's good to do this process. So write down your 10 goals for me. They don't need to be perfect. You can rewrite them tomorrow if you want to shift or adjust them. But I just want you guys to take a minute, and I want you guys to share one of your goals in the chat box if you wouldn't mind, just so we can read a few as we go through here. And then I'm going to tell you guys about a great tool. I'm going to give you guys, some of you already have it because you've downloaded it. I emailed it to most of you guys already, but I'm going to show you how to work on the goals after that. And I'm going to show you mine, the visual representation. Oh, Kristen, get 9 hours of sleep for better health. That's so important. Yeah, learn to watercolor paint. My dad's doing that this year. He's 70 years old. He's just starting that, but I think that's great. Big personal one here. Quit smoking. Yeah, Aaron, good for you. Amanda, build a business and get organized. My biggest goal is to build my travel business and leave my teaching job. Yes, I love that, Amanda. Stacy, take better care of myself. Date my husband. That's such a good one. I know that's one of those things I feel like with my husband too. And I love my husband more than the day I married him. Like, I'm so in love with my husband. But we forget sometimes to have date nights. And we started something last year called Vacations because his name's Baye, and the whole Bay thing. I thought that was funny, but he surprises me like once every other month. And he just goes, we're going on a vacation this weekend. And it's really funny because I'm obviously the travel agent in the family. And so for me to not be involved in the booking process or not where I'm going is so weird, but we've been having so much fun with him surprising me. And usually it's just somewhere here in Texas that we go. It's been super fun. Can't control everything. High five, Kimberly. You got this. I love that. Reconnect with myself. More opportunities with friends and family. Yeah. Oh, you guys have such good ones. Stay focused on my goals. That's a big one. Trisha, I like that. Move to South Carolina. That's exciting. Get negative things out of my life and get organized. Good for you, Mitchell. Yeah. Protect your circle, guys. It's so important. Messages once a month. Lose the weight I gained last year and take better care of my body. Yeah, that's a great one. And my advice there, because I've lost and gained lots of times, but remember, you didn't put it all on in a day. So I say don't have a weight goal, have a how you feel goal is my advice for sure. Make friends. We just moved to Connecticut a year ago, and because I don't have kids and homeschool anymore, it's more difficult to make friends. Yeah, Tana, that's so true. That is so true. Get stronger in every way in life. Yeah, you guys have some great goals. So I want to, I'm going to put a pin in goal setting for right now, because I want to tell you guys about the free tool. Some of you already downloaded it because I can see that you have, but if you haven't, once you have identified these 10 goals, I have a great, this is something I give my careers on vacation clients, my Wanderlust CEO clients, and we do this at Goal Digger, is we share this goal, how to break down your goal. So if your goal is like Tana's goal is to make friends. So she could put in the middle, make more friends this year. And then the little sub boxes, I walk you through what are the little things that she can do to get to that big goal. And think about what your biggest goal is too. Like there's always what I call a needle mover goal or a domino goal. And I want you to pick, like once you get the goal sheet, I want you to pick of those 10, actually of your 10 right now that you just put out, what are the top one or two, we'll go back to this in a second. What are the top one or two goals that if you fix that thing, it will make everything else better in your life, right? And this is a big wake up call, because some of you are like, I have huge career goals or huge this goals or huge whatever. But the reason you don't feel like you're moving forward is because your marriage is broken, or because you just don't feel healthy, or you don't like, it's something that a lot of times your big goal is to have a big business, but because in these other areas, it's constantly holding you back. It's never the goal you want to work on the most either, right? It's the one you have to do, but it's not always the one you want to do. So I want you to circle what that domino goal is, or what that needle mover. If you fix that, everything else will be easier. Everything else will come into focus a little clearer. That is your most important goal. So when you get the goal map, and if you didn't get it already, you can go to that link and we'll send it. If you missed it on the email, no biggie. Get this little workbook. Like, everything's backwards on my screen. Get this little workbook and then write your top 2 or 3 goals. And I want you to map out what are the actions that will get you to that goal. And there's some content in there too that walks you through the exercise and how we do that to even further. Because I feel like the other thing that happens too is, right, like you write these 10 goals down, or people that do New Year's resolutions, right? They write their goals, but they don't really get clear on, okay, I want to lose weight. I want to fix my marriage. I want to have a bigger business. You don't really write down the steps that are going to get you there. So this is that extent. This is the deep dive. This is the work you need to do if you want to meet those goals. So grab that. And I know we don't have time. It's not a 3-hour call. So I know we don't have time to workshop all of that right now, but that out of those, keep that list of 10, and then your top 2 or 3, I want you to do that as homework. Now there's one more piece of homework that I have for you that is really important. It's like a secret amplifier to meeting your goals that I use every year. And I've done this for, oh my God, maybe 15 years. I've done this for forever. I used to do this in corporate world before it was like a thing and before it was in the mainstream. I love to have a vision board. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go to Michael's or cut out magazine. I got one of my old vision boards from like a million years ago. So yeah, I used to do the old style, cut it out. What do you want for your life? All the things. I have to tell you guys, it's so funny because this one has so much stuff on it. This is so old, but so much stuff that has come into be. Like, we wanted to live in Austin. We wanted to have our own home in Disney. If you saw on YouTube recently, we just purchased our own second home in Disney, which is so exciting. Certain car that I wanted to have, this blue BMW. I had that car and then I hated it because I couldn't fit my kids in it. But point is, it was on the vision board. And I made this stuff come true. I wanted to, I don't know if you're Tori Amos fans, but I wanted to meet Tori, and I did a charity auction and I won backstage passes. I mean, come on. So this is actually the backstage pass, but underneath it is that was one of my goals. So these are huge things that from an old vision board. Now, I don't want you to, like, no one's got time for art and crafts projects, but what you can do is you can go to like Pinterest and you can like create your own electronic vision board. That's exactly what I do. I'm going to show you a sample of mine. So I go to Pinterest first. I actually did a video a couple months ago on YouTube that shows you, if you're like you've never used Pinterest, you can go check out that video. I'll link it. I'll see if I can find it before we get off today and I'll link it. But I grab the pictures from there and then I put them into Canva and I create my vision board for the year. So I create 2 versions of my vision board electronically. So this is an electronic file. I literally just have these files. I threw them all into Canva. This is my desktop. So if you guys have a desktop that you work on a regular basis, like whatever size your computer is, you can put that into Canva, or I think they even have like a standard desktop. I think that's what this one is, and create yourself a version. So every day when you log in to your computer, boom, your goals are in front of your face. The other thing that I do, because I'm extra and I want you to be extra too, because I want you to meet all these goals, is I create a version for my phone. And I just finished mine like a week ago. Guys, I can't tell you how many times this is like, I have to open my phone like 100 times a day for emails, for going, doing all the things that you do on your phone. Because this has been in front of my face, you can see it's right here on my phone, exactly what you're seeing on the screen. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to take my bubble bath tonight. Oh yeah, I'm working on buying that Porsche Cayenne. Oh yeah, I want to have that cute bike. Or, oh yeah, I want to do this stuff in Disney. Oh yeah, I want to help 500 people this year in Careers on Vacation grow their travel businesses. Oh yeah, I want to keep working on my YouTube. So I have everything here in a beautiful way, and I see it a million times a day. That is so important. Do not forget the steps. I did this with my COV and Wanderlust CEOs 2 weeks ago, I did this. And then I asked them yesterday, I said, how many of you did your homework? And you guys, it was less than half that did this last step. This is the most important thing that you're going to do, because this is what helps you in the long haul. This is what helps you on the tough days. So they got a preaching yesterday during class. I was like, okay, this is your homework this week, because you need to remember on the tough days, the hard days, the CDC days, the blah, 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 the whatever's going on. This is what I'm working towards. Okay. So this is how you get it in front of your face. And this is how you kind of, get it in that place. Tamika says, sorry, small is 24 by 18. Oh yeah. You guys are putting a vision board in Canva for $6 if you want to print it. Yeah. I don't even print it. I just put it in electronic format, which is totally free. Because if you print it, it's great. Like I used to put it on my bathroom mirror, keep it in my closet. I would see it once a day when I'm getting dressed. But if you put it on your phone, like I have here, you're going to see it like 100 times every single day. And since I changed it, because I had last year's vision board on there, and then I put the new one on there, every time I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be taking care of myself. It has reminded me to order myself a salad for lunch, because I will go all day without eating, because I'm doing this all day. And it's like I said earlier, I will work myself to death because I just love what I do, and I'll just go. And because I unlock my phone, I'm like, oh, I gotta take care of myself. I gotta eat. I have to eat. Like literally, it's so stupid. I have to remember that. But you guys, for me and the things I'm working on, that is a little thing that's making a big difference. So make sure you do the homework, make it your wallpaper or your screensaver on your desktop, and then add it to your lock screen or your home screen, or both. I have it on both on mine. So even when I unlock my phone, the goals are still there. So I'm literally going to look at my goals thousands of times every month, right? So that's what I like to do from a goal setting process. So let me see, did I have any other notes for you guys? I want to, let me see if I can grab that video for you guys real quick and put it in the chat box for you guys. You're probably going to hear a little feedback noise, so just bear with me a second, because I have to find this.
Hey guys, Cyndi Williams here.
That's my YouTube channel talking in the background. Let me find, and this is just for those of you who have a tough time with Pinterest, or maybe you've never used it before. I'm going to grab this link for you here. Okay, share, copy link. And then I will come back over to the chat box, and I'm going to type in Pinterest vision board training. So if you have a tough time with Pinterest, then grab that link, or you can find it over on my YouTube channel. If you're not following me over on YouTube already, that is a great place to check in and just see the different tips and tricks that we're giving you guys on a regular basis. But I hope that this workshop was helpful for you guys. This is one of those things that, goals are everything when you're trying to do something bigger in your life, or you're trying to, like the comment earlier, you're working towards a big goal that other people don't understand. You have to see it before other people see it, right? So this process is what will help you with that. And if you are one of my grads, I'm so glad you showed up and you're continuing to do the work. I love you so much. We already trained this with all of my clients. If you are a travel professional training kit participant, or you work with one of our Wanderlust CEO agencies, I want to remind you to plug into your agency owners. They are working with me to thrive and grow and make sure you have the ultimate support in your businesses and as ICs. So plug into your communities and your owners. They're all my Wanderlust CEOs are freaking knocking out of the park. Like I cannot even start with how many of them are in our $1 million club last year. It's phenomenal. So you are in a great home base with them. That's amazing. And if you are one of the YouTube followers, or you are just watching this and you've never worked with me or my team before, I definitely encourage you to check out Careers on Vacation. This is our 12-week mastermind where we help people launch, grow, and supersize their travel businesses all over the world. It's ASTA affiliated. We are one of the only travel schools in the country that's ASTA affiliated. There's only a handful that are, and we are one of them. And the difference between our travel school and everything else out there is you get to work with real humans. You get to work with a private coach. You get to work with me. You get to go to live calls with me and trainings very similar to the one that we did today. And we just hit 150 case studies, you guys, of the type of results that we're providing for people. And one of my goals on my vision board is we are going to help 500 travel entrepreneurs take their travel business to the next year, to the next level this year. That may seem like a lot, but it's really not. We have over 20,000 people that follow our YouTube channel. And that means I can only accept 40 people a month into our classes. And the other 20 are, we accept 20 Wanderlust CEOs that are agency owners into our larger program on an annual basis. And we do 40 a month in COV. And we have lots of trainers and coaches that support that larger community. But if that is on, if you were working on your career, you're one of the people that said, I want to up level my travel business, I want to double my sales, I want to do all of the things, we would be honored to help you with that. So definitely check that out if that's of interest to you. But guys, I hope this was helpful for you guys. And I just wish you so much love and abundance this year as you move forward in your career. So I will see you guys again soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And we will get this replay out to you. Don't worry, we're going to email the replay to everyone. I know this is a workshop that you don't just do at the beginning of the year. Do this again in 3 months. See where you are on what you mapped out today. Make sure you check in. So I love you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Have a great day.
It's calling me, like the rainbow, It's calling me, like the rainbow.
Hey guys, Cyndi Williams here. If you like that last video, make sure you check out all of the other content on our channel. And if you want to follow along and travel with me around the world and see how I run my amazing travel brands and get some great tips on how to grow your own, make sure you check out that other content. I'm going to drop a couple videos here. Click those links. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.